Good evening, Biomed class of 2020. I hope all of you are doing well and everyone is healthy. And I first of all apologize for the quarantine look with the hair. Trying to do the best I can, but the haircuts start on Friday, so this is filmed before then. I want to congratulate all of you on your accomplishments, not just this year, but for all 4 years that you've taken part of the Biomed program. You took a great challenge when you were in 8th grade and you accelerated throughout all 4 years. And again, I want to congratulate you on doing that. This year has been a challenge, which we all know, but I hope you take everything that you learned in all of your classes and also the adversity that you had this year and take it with you to move forward and use it to your best of abilities in whatever path that you may take. I hope that all of you remember all of the good times and the fun times that you had. While Biomed has definitely been a challenge, it's a great time to be with your friends. I often hear the stories of the late nights working on the different projects and everything that you need to do. So again, remember the good times as well as the challenging times in the class. Please don't forget to take the opportunity and thank your teachers, your school counselors, administrators, and everybody that helped you along the way. Especially make sure you take the time to thank your parents. They're the ones that had to put up with you when you came back from games that were late or had to run you someplace or do things. They're the ones that were there for you when times were tough and also to enjoy all the good things that the Biomed program has provided for you. I wish all of you great success in whatever endeavors that you take and whatever path that you choose as you leave Bel Air High School. Please always remember, once a Bobcat, always a Bobcat. We're very proud of you, and once again, congratulations, class of 2020 Biomed program.
Hello, Bel Air Biomedical Science Program class of 2020 and guests. My name is Joshua Weeks, and I'm a biomed and biology teacher at Bel Air High School. It's been my distinct honor and privilege to be able to work with this group of students for the past 4 years, teaching them in 9th grade biology and in 11th grade in medical interventions during their junior year. I've enjoyed all our time and experiences together from the first day in 9th grade biology all the way until now. I've been asked to give an introduction to the students' independent projects. Students have worked diligently during their senior year to complete 2 major elements: a real-world experience and an innovation based on their experience. Students were tasked with more than 100 hours of experience and innovation and were encouraged to maximize this opportunity by seeking out areas of interest. In most cases, students built relationships with mentors and provided one-of-a-kind, hands-on experiences. Some even scored paid opportunities during the summer or set up future employment prospects. Generally, students would present their experiences and innovations at an independent project gallery walk. This year, we've opted to complete their gallery walk in a digital format due to social distancing guidelines. In the upcoming video segments, students will discuss their experiences and innovations from this 2019-2020 school year. Without further ado, here are the students. Olivia BORKOWSKI-JOHNSON.
My name is Olivia BORKOWSKI-JOHNSON. I chose to shadow an optometrist and an ophthalmologist because I wanted to learn more about vision care and how the eye functions. I shadowed at the Wilmer Eye Institute of Johns Hopkins Medicine under Dr. Sandra Rosar and Dr. Megan Birkenstock. While learning about the practices of optometry and ophthalmology, I recognized the barrier of responsibility that prevents young children from transitioning from eyeglasses to contact lenses. My innovation is a mobile phone application for children that teaches best practices for responsible contact lens use in conjunction with close parental supervision. This experience has reinforced my decision to pursue a career in healthcare. I plan to attend Hartford Community College to major in nursing this fall.
Mason Bosley.
Hello, my name is Mason Bosley, and I chose to shadow physical therapy. I shadowed at the ATI in Forest Hill underneath Justin Summers. I really enjoyed soaking up the knowledge from Justin. The problem I wanted to solve was the openness of patients to their doctors. I created a background knowledge poster for doctors so that patients can get to know them better and feel more comfortable, allowing them to be more open with their doctors. After these experiences, I feel a lot more knowledgeable. I plan to attend the University of Maryland and major in biology this fall.
Zachary Bowen.
My name is Zachary Bowen, and I chose to shadow the field of physical therapy because I could potentially see the field as a future career path for myself. I shadowed at the University of Maryland, Upper Chesapeake Medical Center. I loved the personal level of patient to therapist interaction. A problem I wanted to solve was the lack of mobility in certain walkers. Patients with Alzheimer's and dementia have walker-related falls at irregular rates. To solve this problem, I created the hovering walker. It allows for easier mobility for patients who have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's or dementia. It eliminates the rusting of wheels, which will lead to less falls. The shadow experience has given me many connections with important people in the field of physical therapy. I'm excited to continue my studies at the University of Maryland in the fall.
Jason Brunicke.
Hi, my name is Jason Brunicke, and I chose strokes as my field of study due to a long family history of them and just general interest in the brain and how it works. I shadowed at University of Maryland Upper Chesapeake Medical Health Center under Aaron Brown, the primary stroke coordinator at the time. While there, I saw the inner workings of an ER and how stroke patients are handled on a day-to-day basis, but I also saw issues such as the handling stroke patients in a timely manner so that all time restrictions are met. The best way to handle time issues is through technology. My app would be the best application of technology in this instance due to the ability of it to record down times in which you have to complete certain things, and also be an encyclopedia of all things strokes that would be easily accessed from a phone. After finishing my shadowing experience, I now have a newfound knowledge of what it's like working in an ER, as well as a increased knowledge of how to handle working within a group of those around you that either have more information than you or less information than you. I also plan to attend Coastal Carolina University next fall.
Anna Carrillo.
My name is Anna Carrillo, and I chose to shadow special ed teachers to see how it would feel like to work with children with disabilities. I shadowed at John Archer Elementary School, and I worked with 3 teachers who were Miss Kate, Miss Kirsten, and Miss Steph. And my favorite part was being around all the children because they all had different personalities, and you could just see how they were, and it was just very exciting for me to be with them. And a problem I wanted to solve was to basically spread more awareness to others who just aren't familiar with kids who have these kind of disabilities. My innovation was basically to make a test, and I would go and teach middle schoolers and give them the before test and then show them my presentation and give them the after test to see what they learned about these disabilities. This experience really brought light to me and made me realize that there's a lot of people that have it very difficult in their everyday life and can't really do tasks that most people can do. So it inspired me to continue down this path, and I want to work with children with disabilities in the future.
Alexandria CASHMAN.
Hello, my name is Alexandria CASHMAN. The Biomed program heavily focuses on human medicine, and I was interested to get to know another side of the spectrum, that being veterinary medicine. This past winter, I spent 80 hours shadowing at Bel Air Veterinary Hospital. I shadowed various types of people, including veterinarians, animal surgeons, and vet technicians. Not one day was the same. Some days I'd be watching surgery, and others I'd be watching ultrasounds. I noticed that after surgery, some clients were offered honey-impregnated wound dressing to help prevent infection in the surgical wound bed, but it was an extra cost that some clients could not afford. After researching the components of VetBond, the brand of tissue adhesive used by vets today, and medical-grade honey, I found that they were biocompatible with each other. My innovation is called honey glue, honey-impregnated cyanoacrylate that possesses the antimicrobial properties of honey while still acting as an adhesive for wounds. From this experience, I learned that I truly enjoy working around animals. This fall, I will be attending University of Miami and studying health sciences. While studying Miami, I plan to find a part-time job at a veterinary hospital.
CAITLYN Chan.
Hi, I'm CAITLYN Chan, and I shadowed an occupational therapist because pursuing a career in rehabilitation has always been an interest to me. I shadowed Miss Karen Fike, an occupational therapist at Bel Air Health and Rehabilitation Center. Here I saw occupational, physical, and speech therapy. Being able to see each area of treatment was particularly eye-opening because I was able to see how all the different kinds of treatments interact. As I went from room to room, I was also able to see issues in the sizes of the room for bariatric patients. Since it is not realistic for every treatment center to rebuild their rooms, I decided to focus on a part of the issue, the bed. Bariatric beds are larger and take up more space. And so came the idea of a collapsible bed. By collapsing this bed when it's not in use, more floor space will be freed. From this experience, I learned about the different struggles that bariatric patients undergo due to their size and how there are many improvements needed for the quality of their medical care. I plan to continue my studies in healthcare at the University of Maryland this fall.
Tanner EMIG.
My name is Tanner EMIG. I chose the field of chiropractic medicine because of its relation to sports and keeping athletes in their best shape possible. I shadowed at Ultimate Health with Dr. Davidson. I enjoyed hanging out and learning about chiropractic. The only issue within his practice was that some people didn't like the hypervolt he used because it was too painful for them. So I made an attachment that would be unlike any found on the market today. It would be large and flat so that it would spread out the points of pressure, making it less painful. In the fall, I will be attending Towson University. I am not quite sure yet what I want my major to be, but it will probably be something to do with technology.
Jeremy GINLEY.
My name is Jeremy GINLEY. I chose to shadow in physical therapy because I enjoy helping people recover from injuries. I shadowed at Agape Physical Therapy in Abingdon. I shadowed Mr. Tom Walsh, a physical therapist with over a decade of experience in the field. I enjoyed seeing the progress patients made on their path to recovery as they got better, and I was interested in solving the common issue of overuse injuries in young athletes. I created a brochure in Microsoft Publisher. This brochure is short and full of information and informs the parents of young athletes on the best methods of reducing overuse injuries. This coming fall, I plan to attend Colorado State University in Fort Collins while pursuing a bachelor's degree in environmental engineering.
Ava Geller.
Hello, my name is Ava Geller, and I chose orthopedics to shadow because I had shoulder surgery back in June of 2019 and have been intrigued by the field ever since. I shadowed Dr. Todd Drenick at Towson Orthopedics in Bel Air. Dr. Drenick included me in each of his evaluations and treatment plans. He was very thorough and informative. My learning experience was amazing and furthered my interest in orthopedics. One common complaint I wanted to address was sleeping in a shoulder immobilizer. My focus is on pressure reduction for optimal healing. Patients would complain that during the night they would tend to roll over onto the affected shoulder. My pressure sensors will allow for auditory and/or tactile cues to deter weight acceptance. I plan to attend Radford University in the fall, and my ultimate goal is to become a nurse practitioner. Dr. Trudenick was a wealth of knowledge, but what inspired me the most was his communication and relationships with his patients.
Daniel Graney.
My name is Daniel Graney, and I shadowed to learn more about the medical community and the tasks that are performed on an everyday basis within it. I spent my time shadowing at Upper Chesapeake Medical Center as well as Bel Air Health and Rehab under nurse Natalie Nugaban. During this time, I learned what nurses and doctors do to treat and sustain their patients so they can heal and live more fuller and productive lives. During my time shadowing, I noticed how tired nurses and doctors often get. So, I designed my innovation to be a sleeping console that would also replace the electrolytes of medical professionals to combat fatigue. During my time shadowing, I realized that I would like to pursue a career in population health and will be studying population science next year at Lehigh University.
Parker Grebe.
Hi, my name is Parker Grebe, and I am in the Biomedical Sciences program at Bel Air High School. I chose to work in veterinary medicine because I've always enjoyed working with animals. I spent my 80 hours at the local animal emergency hospital and shadowed the doctors and vet technicians. I really enjoyed seeing how well the staff there worked together in times of emergency. My goal over the 80 hours was to improve the communication between veterinarians, pet owners, and the emergency staff. I created an app that combines many features into one, but most notably allows you to pull up your pet's medical history and records with the touch of your finger. Shadowing at the animal hospital has solidified the fact that I want to continue my education in the medical field. I am excited to do this by majoring in biology at the University of Maryland in the fall.
Jacob GREWE.
Hello, my name is Jacob GREWE, and I chose the field of dentistry to shadow because ever since I was a young kid, I've always inspired to become a dentist. I shadowed Dr. Leonard Ucci at Aesthetic Family Dentistry of Bel Air, and my experience was nothing but amazing. I got to observe multiple procedures that I have never seen before. However, there was one common complaint I did want to solve, and that was the comfortability of patients being worked on by a dental scaler. My solution to the problem is adding a latex-free rubber tip to the end of a dental scaler to give comfort for a patient and limit gum recession. After shadowing Dr. Leonard, I now know more information on how to run a dental office and the hard work and preparation it takes. In the fall, I plan to attend the University of Alabama and major in public health with the intent to still become a dentist.
Wendy GUAN.
Hi, my name is Wendy GUAN. I am a senior in the PLTW Biomed program, and I chose to study in the field of cardiology because I myself had a heart surgery, and personally, I want to understand this topic a lot more. I shadowed in the Cardiovascular and Pulmonary Rehabilitation Unit in the Upper Chesapeake Medical Hospital in Bel Air. I shadowed an amazing team of nurses, therapists, and exercise specialists that helped me understand on a much closer level how patients build a better, healthier lifestyle. While shadowing there, I developed an interest in wanting to build a prototype to a heart rate monitor that would not only be beneficial to the staff, but also the patients. This is my heart rate monitor patch, a slim, comfortable, convenient adhesive that accurately reads and records a patient's heart rate 24/7, connected via Bluetooth, and can even deliver medicine. No more inaccurate readings from chest straps that are constricting or smartwatches that are often too loose or tight and unreliable during heavy training. I have developed an even higher level of respect for both the staff members for supporting the patients along the way and helping them build a better lifestyle, and the patients that pushed with confidence to their program graduation. With this experience, I am proud to say that I will be officially majoring in pre-nursing at Virginia Commonwealth University this fall.
Julianna HARDEN.
My name is Julianna HARDEN, and I chose to shadow at a physical therapy clinic. My brother had recently been through physical therapy, and the path of recovery that he went through fascinated me. I spent my 80 hours at the ATI Physical Therapy Clinic in Forest Hill. I directly shadowed the head of the clinic, Dr. Eddie Scarborough, but I also worked with all of the other PTs and techs. I really enjoyed my time there. The clinic was very efficient in its size and operations, but I had noticed that the hydrocollar they used to heat up hot packs was causing a few issues. I designed a device that would heat up hot packs by using air conduction rather than water conduction. This would allow the hot packs to stay hot longer without the mess that water causes. The experience that ATI provided, as well as the knowledge that the Biomedical Sciences program provided, inspired me to continue my education at LaSalle University in the fall, where I will be in the pre-med program.
Melanie HOANG.
My name is Melanie Huang, and today I'll be presenting my Biomedical Science Program Innovation. I hope you guys enjoy. I decided to shadow the labor and delivery department, not because of the delivery part, but I just wanted to see what kind of care newborns go through and different treatments they get for the conditions that they might have coming out of birth. I had the honor of shadowing Ms. Janice Meese at Johns Hopkins. What I liked about the experience was being able to tour around the hospital and get a feel of what it would be like to actually have a job that involved caring for patients and newborns. A problem that I wanted to solve at Johns Hopkins was I realized there wasn't a lot of phototherapy treatments for jaundice, and when jaundice gets very severe in infants, it can be very dangerous to the baby's brain and even can be fatal. So I wanted to find something that was convenient for the hospital and convenient to the patient so they can be treated right away and as soon as possible. A solution that I've created as shown in my SketchUp is a greenhouse. This greenhouse will be able to effectively and quickly treat newborns with severe jaundice. The sunlight is actually found to be more effective than phototherapy lights, allowing treatments to be less time-consuming and costly. This fall, I'll be attending the University of Maryland College Park. Before any of this experience, I actually wanted to go into the pharmaceutical field, making medicine. But after, I decided that I actually like interacting with people, and rather than staying behind a counter, I wanted to work with patients. So I decided to change my major to nursing and hopefully eventually become a PA.
JENNA HUIE.
Hi, my name is Jenna Huey, and I chose to shadow at a local physical therapy clinic because I wanted to learn more about common injuries and what a recovery process entailed for patients of all ages. I shadowed several physical therapists and athletic trainers at Dreher Physical Therapy. During this, I got to learn more about their day-to-day practices. I enjoyed being able to meet many patients and aiding them in their recovery journeys. I had spent a lot of my time with younger patients, and this is where I discovered an underlying correlation between motivation and productivity. I created an app called One Step for therapists and kids to use as an interactive productivity stimulation tool. The gamification of a physical therapy session would encourage kids to stay motivated on their tasks and track their progress, all in a timely manner. My shadowing experience has inspired me to further my education in the field of physical therapy. This experience will definitely help me as I pursue a kinesiology degree at the University of Maryland, all in hopes of becoming an athletic trainer.
Taylor Hurt.
Hi, my name is Taylor Hurt. I decided to do my shadowing experience in health analytics. I want to do this field because I want to see what happened behind the scenes in healthcare. For my shadowing experience, I shadowed at Kirk Army Health Clinic and CareFirst Blue Cross Blue Shield. I shadowed under a health analyst and the director of IT Commercial and Specialty. I liked this field because I was able to see what it took to communicate and really run the healthcare system. My innovation is HealthLock Plus. HealthLock Plus is an app connected to a smartwatch for easy access of patient information for both the doctor and the patient and other medical professionals. My shadowing experiences have allowed me to see what really happens in the medical field behind the scenes and has opened my eyes to the different possibilities for a career. In the fall, I will be attending the University of Miami.
William Jackson.
Hello, my name is William Jackson, and I chose physical therapy as my field to shadow, as I am very interested in the human body and how movement can be a form of treatment. I shadowed at the Forest Hill and Abington ATI offices. I was lucky enough to shadow Karen Maurice and Colin Keelan. I liked how friendly everyone was, along with how much I learned in just 80 hours of shadowing. My goal during this experience was to increase the efficiency of the office by creating an app. The PT Pocket Planner would simplify the physical therapy experience by combining all the different components into one simple app. I plan to attend the University of Delaware this fall, majoring in exercise science to chase my dream of becoming a physical therapist.
RHEA KABIR.
Hi, my name is RHEA, and I decided to shadow the emergency department to get a better understanding of how critical decisions could be made in such a chaotic environment. I shadowed at the Upper Chesapeake Medical Center, and I enjoyed observing how all the members of an emergency department can work together to treat patients, as well as being able to identify issues like overcrowding and long wait times, and how they can have an effect on efficiency of the emergency department as a whole. My solution to the issues I observed in the emergency department is the triage cart, which is a cohesive piece of equipment that brings together all parts of triage for a more accurate diagnosis. After this experience and getting more acquainted with the medical field, I feel more prepared than ever to continue pursuing biomedical engineering at Penn State University.
Maryam Khan.
Hi, my name is Maryam Khan, and over the summer I worked as a paid research intern in a biochemistry lab at the United States Medical Research Institute of Chemical Defense. I decided to intern here because I had a great interest in making real-life discoveries within the nation's leading science and technology laboratory in the area of medical chemical countermeasures. As I worked under the direction of Dr. Lynn Kaju, the thing I most enjoyed from this experience had been the process of problem-solving to optimize a PCR reaction. But, as I interned, a problem I had noticed in the laboratory had been that samples were often lost in the lab, and it was difficult to track which step of the genotyping process each sample was on. Running hundreds of tests a day and testing on a myriad of mice can often become a daunting task, and to solve this issue, an efficient method for tracking samples was greatly needed. Therefore, I initially implemented a new organization system into the lab involving a chart that tracked each sample, and labeled colored coordinated boxes to create a dynamic way to organize the samples by type of mouse and step in the genotyping process. But this was only the first step. I understood that a human operator is a major source of error, and I hope to build upon this organization system utilizing a computerized tracking system. With this, a system of scanners would be able to track who last interacted with what sample and detect what samples are lifted from their designated lab spot, improving both quality and workflow. Although I enjoyed working in the lab and making different scientific discoveries, I would like to pursue a career where I can interact with patients directly. Therefore, I'll be attending the University of the Sciences under the 7-year BSDO LECOM program where I'll work towards pursuing a career as a physician. I will also continue to explore my love for research under the CPHAGES program where I'll be conducting hands-on research in a microbiology lab.
Alexa Kolosey.
My name is Alexa Kolosey, and I chose to shadow at a pain management clinic as I've always wanted to see how certain disorders are diagnosed and treated. I shadowed at the Wellspring Pain Management Clinic, shadowing various doctors, mainly Dr. Irene. The experience was enlightening. I received many personal stories on the repercussions of the opioid crisis and sufferers of chronic pain. I noticed during ultrasound-guided injections, the ultrasound probe had difficulty reaching certain areas, the location of the injection was sometimes difficult to pinpoint, and the imaging system could have more to provide for the medical professionals. A potential solution to increasing the efficiency of ultrasound imaging within patients would be a set of biomedical innovations to the probe and ultrasound imaging construct itself. Temperature sensors should be mounted upon the probe to monitor tissue temperature to ensure no overheating. Attached to the head of the probe as well would be a circular sponge-like material, with the probe head still accessible for sound waves to go through and allow easier adaptation to certain locations. In aiding with injection location accuracy, a pen which is maneuvered in the middle of the probe would be able to be pressed wherever the doctor deems necessary. The computer imaging system would be able to present much more information, such as pertinent details on the patient and the injection they are receiving in order to help the doctor stay organized. Having the opportunity for inside practice allowed me to see past the analytical and objective facts of certain biomedical problems and ethics and showed me real stories and people. Hopefully, with my psychology degree, I will be able to receive this type of experience once again through a different perspective.
Nicholas Kramer.
Hi, my name is Nicholas Kramer, and the field I chose to shadow in was physical therapy. The reason I chose to shadow physical therapy is because I have never broken a bone in my body, and I wanted to go into a new field I knew nothing about. I studied under Eric Wonderley, who is a physical therapist at the rehab. Eric was awesome to work with each and every day. Eric ensured he showed me not only how to do certain things, but followed with an explanation on why he does it. I learned so much in such a short time. The problem I want to address is working out a better schedule for both the patient and the therapist, and making the therapist available even when he is not in the building. My innovation is TheraTap, the app you should feel good about. Many times throughout our day, we would run into roadblocks when we could get the patients from their rooms. They cannot come to therapy due to them having visitors, lunchtime, or they were sleeping as they did not sleep the night before. My innovation will focus on allowing patients to choose a time, as some patients work better in the morning than the afternoon. Oftentimes, Eric had lunch at 10 a.m. and then 3 p.m. the next day. It was very out of order and made his day very stressful. Applying for the biomedical sciences program was one of the best decisions I've ever made. The physical therapy field greatly interested me while I was in my experience, but this fall I will be attending Hartford Community College, where I will be turning my interest into a trade, hopefully heating and air conditioning, to continue my career.
Alina Krantz.
My name is Alina Krantz, and I shadowed an optometrist because I've always felt that the eye was one of the most fascinating organs of the human body. I shadowed under Dr. Jeffrey Kessler at Professional Vision. I enjoyed being able to learn about the business of optometry in Dr. Kessler's practice. While shadowing, I noticed how the paper patient files took up a lot of space. From this problem, I decided I wanted to create something to aid medical practices in the transition from paper files to a more high-tech electronic filing system. To help doctors move their practices into a computerized file system, I wanted to create a how-to guide that goes into detail about the difficulties the staff may encounter and how to adapt to the new system. From my shadowing experience, I hold a deeper understanding of how medical practices operate. In the fall, I will be attending West Virginia University to pursue an undergraduate degree in forensic biology as a first step along the way to becoming a medical examiner.
Lauren LaRoche.
Hi, I'm Lauren LaRoche from Bel Air High School, and I chose to shadow in the nursing field because I wanted to major in nursing in college. For experience, I chose to shadow an occupational health nurse, public health nurse, and process information specialist at Aberdeen Proving Ground. I liked learning about the nursing field, and I wanted to fix problems with appointments and immunizations. I noticed that appointments were a big concern at the clinic and not having updated immunization records in the computer program. My innovation is to make an app that helps you schedule appointments, immunizations, and have contact with a doctor when needed. After having this experience, I decided to pursue education instead of clinical nursing. This fall, my plan is to attend Syracuse University.
Jake Lee.
My name is Jake Lee, and I chose to shadow the field of dentistry just because I've always had a strong interest in dentistry, and as of now, that's my future career choice. I shadowed Dr. Linda Ducci at the Family Aesthetics Dental Office in Abingdon, Maryland. What I liked most about the experience was the fact that I learned so much more about the field of dentistry before I began. The problem I chose to solve was patients making 2 appointments for a crown procedure. To solve this problem, I developed a software that will be able to copy the patient's mouth and create a 3D printed crown piece that can be applied in the same appointment. This shadowing experience has strengthened my interest in the field of dentistry. Therefore, I will be studying biomedical engineering at Stevenson University in hopes of being accepted into dental school.
Connor Legge.
My name is Connor Legge, and I chose to shadow with an optometrist because I am color deficient, and the anatomy of the eye has always been interesting to me. I shadowed at Siedenberg-Protzko Eye Associates in Upper Chesapeake and in Havertz with Dr. David Reed. I was intrigued with the ins and outs of an optometrist office. Although there is plenty of information on color blindness for adults, there is minimal kid-friendly material on the disorder. My solution is the creation of a pamphlet to provide children with and without color blindness advice on how to deal with the disorder. I now have a greater understanding of the world of optometry. I plan to attend Pennsylvania State University in the fall, where I am majoring in biomedical engineering.
Christopher Loy.
Hi, my name is Christopher Loy. I chose to shadow emergency medicine because I admire the ability to provide quality medical care under time pressures. For my experience, I shadowed at the University of Maryland Upper Chesapeake Health Emergency Department under Dr. Michael Abraham. I like how the physicians were able to socialize and perform outstanding work. The main problem I wanted to solve was anxiety associated with the lumbar puncture. The innovation involves adjusting the lumbar puncture procedure through the implication of improved preparation, ultrasound technology, and music therapy. After this experience, I can only say my admiration for the medical field has only grown stronger. In the fall, I plan to attend the University of Maryland College Park.
Lara Marinich.
Hello everybody, my name is Lara Marinich. I shadowed veterinary medicine due to the fact that I am planning on going to veterinary school in the future. Primarily, I shadowed Dr. Gold as well as Dr. HUIE at Chadwell Veterinary Hospital in Abingdon, Maryland. My favorite part about this whole experience wasn't just all the super cute pets and exotics and wildlife, but the fact that every day was case to case and always kept you on your toes. For my innovation, I combined 2 already known products, the Berserkville muzzle and Adapto collars. Now the muzzle is also infused with dog-appeasing pheromones. This way, the muzzle doesn't just restrain the dog, but it also calms them. This experience has further proven to me that I want to continue to pursue my dreams of becoming a veterinarian. To do so, I will be furthering my experience and knowledge in biology at St. Mary's College of Maryland.
Riley McDermott.
Hello, my name is Riley McDermott. I chose to shadow otolaryngology because my track coach works in this field, and it was something completely new to me. I spent 80 hours at the Johns Hopkins Otolaryngology Clinic and was lucky enough to shadow many different providers, nurses, medical assistants, and medical students. One of my favorite days at the clinic, I got to observe a partial glossectomy surgery, during which a surgeon asked me to help reposition his headlight. This inspired me to come up with a way a surgeon could adjust their own headlight hands-free. I created a voice-controlled headlight able to adjust position, brightness, and width of the light with simple commands. Additionally, voice recognition software ensures that the headlight will only respond to the voice of the wearer. From this experience, I confirmed my interest in the medical field and will be going on to pursue a degree in public health at the University of Alabama, Tuscaloosa.
Raima Mian.
Hello, my name is Raima Mian. The field I chose to shadow was emergency medicine because I was interested in what occurs in the emergency department from an RN nurse's perspective. The place that I shadowed was at the emergency department at the Upper Chesapeake Medical Center. I shadowed many different RN nurses during my time. What I really liked about this experience was that it gave me a deeper look into the various tasks of an RN nurse. A problem that I noticed, however, was that many patients came for a problem that could have been dealt with at urgent care or at home. Patients are sometimes confused if they should come based on their symptoms, and so they come to the emergency department when they did not require its use, which takes up time, resources, and rooms from patients who need them. This is the problem I wanted to solve. My solution to the problem that I have noticed from my experience is an app called Emergency Aid. This app is generally for patients who have less severe symptoms and are unsure of whether they should go to the emergency department. This app allows a patient to determine when it will be most appropriate for them to visit. What a patient does is type or select their symptoms, and based on this, they are shown a list of possible problems that they may have, and whether they should go to urgent care or the emergency department. If neither, they are given instructions on possible ways to treat it at home. If the symptoms that the patient has listed are insufficient to provide an accurate conclusion, the app will recommend calling a digital assistant from the nearest emergency department. They can describe their symptoms to the digital assistant, and it will determine whether or not they should come, and if unsure, they will be recommended to come. If the patient decides they want to come, they can add themselves into a waiting list and given an estimated waiting time. They can remove themselves from this list at any time. Through the innovation process and shadowing experience, I have learned a lot about what occurs not only at the emergency department, but the hospital itself. I saw firsthand the challenges that medical professionals face. This entire experience has better prepared me for studying medicine and for one day working at a hospital as well, because I have seen a closer look at what it is like to deal with patients and many of the different duties a medical professional has. I will continue to pursue a medical career in the future and at the University of Maryland, College Park.
Caden Morris.
Hello, my name is Caden Morris, and I decided to shadow a family practitioner because I found it interesting how they deal with a wide variety of conditions. I shadowed at Tinney Family Medicine behind Dr. Tinney, and throughout the experience, I liked how she would explain her mindset on why she would say certain things and do certain things. One problem I found is that many people would come in with injuries that could have been easily prevented, and they would never had to come into the doctor's office. That is why I had assigned a hat that could prevent injury if the pitcher pitches the ball and is struck back up the middle at them. It is a hat that includes places where you can insert choroid padding to absorb the force of the ball when it strikes them. My plan for the fall is to attend Harvard Community College in the nursing program.
Arthur Pasqualini.
Hi, I'm Arthur Pasqualini, and I chose to shadow pharmaceuticals to learn about how medicine works in the body. I shadowed at the pharmacy at Giant Food alongside Penelope Trichoriotis. I enjoyed being able to see how the pharmacy process works and how much more is done as opposed to just filling prescriptions. I also enjoyed working with a great group of people who were willing to help me so I could expand my knowledge on the topic. I wanted to solve the issue of drug abuse to help reduce deaths not only in America, but possibly the world by changing the way we help treat patients. I noticed that as current methods weren't helping the issue, I had to use a different way of thinking to help these patients. Helping prevent the damage that they could do could help lower rates of drug abuse and help the overall longevity of the patient, which is why I designed this hospital, which helps drug abuse patients receive safe ways to use drugs, consultation with health professionals, and ways to help break their addiction. After working in the pharmacy, I've become more favorable to possibly working with the topic in the future, but I want to continue my dream of becoming a sports commentator, starting at Harvard Community College and then transferring to Boston University.
Riley Patrick.
My name is Riley Patrick. I chose to shadow oncology and pain management because I find both of these fields intriguing on the molecular level. First, I shadowed at Upper Chesapeake in the oncology unit where I assisted the nurses, and I really enjoyed learning about the behind the scenes of the hospital. Next, I shadowed at Wellspring Clinic for pain management, where I shadowed Dr. Irene. Here, I was able to have more patient interaction, which I enjoyed. My innovation is an at-home hormone imbalance test for cancer patients experiencing chronic pain. It is a quick and easy way to reduce or even eliminate the need for opioids. In the fall, I will be attending the University of Pittsburgh in the School of Computing and Information. Here, I will be studying bioinformatics.
Mackenzie Plowman.
Hi, my name is Mackenzie Plowman, and I shadowed inpatient and outpatient physical therapy. As a three-sport athlete, I always envisioned myself becoming a physical therapist so I could help athletes who love sports just as much as I do return to play. I shadowed at the University of Maryland Upper Chesapeake Medical Center in the inpatient and outpatient physical therapy clinics along with the Sports Medicine Rehabilitation Center. I shadowed multiple staff members in all three clinics. I enjoyed seeing new patients every day, including multiple patients who were learning to walk with prosthetics. Some patients that I got to see were having a hard time gaining gait consistency with their above-the-knee prosthetic. I created my innovation to help these patients out. My innovation is a device that attaches to a patient's walker and can be adjusted to the patient's needs. It uses a laser sensor that alerts the patients when they have lifted their knee high enough to allow the lower portion of the prosthetic to swing through. This allows them to practice and gain consistency over time when they go to take a step. I have learned a lot about how physical therapists plan an exercise routine that is customized to suit the needs of any patient. I enjoy learning about physical therapy, and I know I still have so much to learn. With that said, my plans for the future include majoring in biology at Shenandoah University in Winchester, Virginia.
Mario Romeo.
Hello, my name is Mario Romeo. For my capstone project, I decided to focus on optometry as it has interested me for the past few years. I shadowed Dr. Daniel Stoltz, a local optometrist from the Paulson Eye Care Center. During my experience, I enjoyed meeting friendly patients and learning various types of eye examinations, such as measuring eye pressure. I noticed many patients are at risk of glaucoma, which requires frequent monitoring of eye pressure, mainly performed at doctor offices. My innovation is an automated, non-contact tonometer publicly available in health centers and retail stores. This eye pressure device will be connected to an app that monitors and notifies users and their doctors of patterns or irregularities in eye pressure over time. After this experience, I now plan to attend the University of Maryland, Baltimore County to major in biology and eventually study ophthalmology in medical school.
Michaela Rusinko.
Hi, my name is Michaela Rusinko. I shadowed in the field of nursing. I chose this field because I was always interested in nursing. I shadowed at Upper Chesapeake Hospital. I liked how I was able to see all aspects of nursing. During my shadowing, I learned about the prevalence of nursing PTSD, and I wanted to create an innovation based upon this problem. My innovation is a room where nurses can go to relax. It has blue lights, hot tea, aromatherapy, and chewing gum, all of which has been proven to relieve stress. This room also allows for nurses to talk to each other in a safe environment. In the fall, I am attending Loyola University Chicago. I will be majoring in nursing and minoring in Mandarin. With the experience I gained through this project, I am even more excited about my future career as a nurse.
Logan Say.
Hi, my name is Logan C. I shadowed at a physical therapy office, and from that experience I gained the ability to work with patients hands-on. I shadowed at the ATI Physical Therapy office on Emerton Road. I shadowed Michael Stevens, the clinical director there, and from that experience I watched him work with patients hands-on, and I saw problems that the time was inefficient to patients' needs, and there was a lot of wait time in the office. My innovation is to take the same software as Amazon to implement in the physical therapy office to pay the copay and track patients' progress on each exercise. From this opportunity, I saw what it's like to work in the medical field and what experiences you can gain from it. And in the fall, I'll be attending Salisbury University in their pre-nursing program.
Joshua Sellers.
My name is Joshua Sellers. I chose to shadow in the field of physical therapy. I chose this field because I and many of my friends have gone through physical therapy, and I was interested in learning more about it. I completed my experience at the Agape Physical Therapy Clinic at the Arena Club. I shadowed one of their therapists, Jennifer Patrick. I really liked meeting the patients and talking to them about the experiences that they have had with therapy and also life in general. It was also very cool to watch them go through the therapy process and recover from their injuries. The problem that I aimed to solve was that some patients were unable to easily and comfortably ice some parts of their body, like their ankle. To solve this problem, I created an ankle brace with ice packs built into it. It is a brace, so it will be able to provide support and protection that is needed for the ankle to heal. With the built-in ice pack, the person using it can ice without having to position themselves in an awkward way so that the ice won't move or fall off. Although I enjoyed my experience, I learned that physical therapy is not for me and not what I want to do in the future. Instead, I will be studying chemical engineering in the fall at the University of Alabama.
Kendall Sewell.
My name's Kendall Sewell, and I chose the shadow of physical therapist because it's familiar to me from when I tore my ACL freshman year of high school. I chose to shadow at ATI Physical Therapy in Forest Hill, and I worked with Eddie Scarborough, who I've known for 4 years, and I love the experience of getting to know the patients and working with them and knowing what their problems were and how to fix them, and I wanted to fix the problem with rotator cuff surgery. The problem that I wanted to fix at ATI Physical Therapy was the machine called the shoulder pulley, and I thought that the patients weren't getting the full experience when they had rotator cuff surgery. I will be attending Newberry College in South Carolina in the fall, and from my shadowing experience, I've learned a new respect for treating patients.
Darcy Shannon.
My name is Darcy Shannon, and I decided to shadow the food and nutrition field because I've always loved learning about wellness and health and how food can help our bodies. I spent 80 hours with the HCPS registered dietitian Karen Olson. I got to plan menus, go to wellness fairs, and I met with food vendors. My biggest goal throughout my experience was to find ways to motivate students to eat healthy at both school and home. In order to help students to choose healthier options, I've created an app that parents in the school system can use to provide their child with healthier meals. Each week, a dietitian will update the meal plan with many different types of recipes so that students will be able to try many different types of food, and this will eventually motivate the student to make their own healthy decisions at lunch at school and when making meals at home. This experience has taught me so much about the nutrition field and has grown my interest even more, so I have plans to attend James Madison University in the fall and major in their dietetics program.
Olivia Simon.
Hi, my name is Olivia Simon. I'm a student at Beller High School in the Biomedical Sciences program, and I chose to shadow in the field of pediatrics because I love working with and helping children. I spent my 80 hours shadowing the medical assistants at Pediatric Partners in Bel Air, Maryland. I really enjoyed getting to be behind the scenes in the office and learning about what really goes on into making sure children are healthy. I wanted to improve the vaccine storage fridge so that it would be safer to store and distribute vaccines and easier to update patient information. I have created a smart vaccine storage fridge that automatically dispenses patient vaccines and updates patient history. This ensures that vaccines are safely stored and patient information is efficiently recorded. After shadowing at Pediatric Partners, I know so much more about what it is like to work in the field of pediatrics. I'm super excited to continue my studies at Stevenson University in the fall.
Imra Saipos.
My name is Imra Saipos,
and I chose to do my shadowing in the field of analytical chemistry and toxicology because I've been doing work in these fields over the last 3 years. I was given the opportunity to shadow Dr. Lucille Lang's lab group, especially Katie Walker, at the United States Army Medical Research Institute of Chemical Defense. I most enjoyed learning about all the assays used in the labs, especially the ones that were quantifiable by color change and spectrophotometry. I contributed to the validation process of a new model by completing a variety of assays and tests over my time at the Institute. Now that I've had years of real-world lab experience and completed the biomedical program at Beller High School, I'm excited to study biomedical engineering at Lehigh University in the fall.
Lillian Smith.
Hi, my name is Lillian Smith, and the field that I chose to shadow was prosthetics. I chose this field because there are a lot of unanswered questions about the field, and I wanted to see what those questions were. For my project, I shadowed at 3 different places. The first place was Hanger Prosthetics, where I followed Abby Hinson, who was one of the main designers of prosthetic limbs at this clinic. This is where I witnessed the process of how the limbs are actually made. The next place I shadowed was Jerry Physical Therapy in Bel Air with Sarah Harrison, one of the leading physical therapists at this clinic. Here's where I observe patients with lower limb injuries rehabilitate through different strength exercises. Many of the exercises are also used with new amputees. Lastly, I shadowed Michelle Yaman at the Aberdeen Dreher Physical Therapy Clinic. This is where I observed how an amputee learns to use their prosthetic and build confidence within themselves to be able to go throughout their daily lives without any problems. Now, the woman next door is actually a patient I observed. She had trouble controlling her prosthetic and had to relearn how to walk again. After observing all these professionals, I noticed that many of the problems that the patients were suffering were caused by the uncomfortable liners that they used to cushion between the residual limb and their prosthetic. The friction causes skin irritations and tissue deformities that can cause more damage if left untreated. But to do that, one would need to take a break from using the prosthetic, which creates more of a hassle when trying to go through their daily lives and routines. To solve this problem, I have come up with a type of patch that will heal and protect parts of the residual limb that have unhealed wounds. The patch will prevent friction by creating a barrier between their skin and the liner. Looking back on the past 4 years while being in the Biomedical Sciences program here at Bel Air, it has broadened my view on the world of biomedical sciences in general, especially during the duration of this capstone project, but mostly the engineering part. With this in mind, in the fall I will be attending Penn State University, University Park, with an intended major in biomedical engineering and a minor in biology.
Andrew Tredynick.
Hi, my name is Andrew Tredynick, and I chose physical therapy to shadow because of an ankle injury I suffered during basketball my sophomore year. I shadowed under Eddie Scarborough at ATI Physical Therapy in Forest Hill. Eddie allowed me to shadow him, in which I would see how Eddie would interact with patients and how he would help patients recover from many different injuries. My experience shadowing under Eddie is one that was very beneficial to me. A problem that I wanted to fix is the ankle brace, specifically the tightness that occurs in the calf when playing. Patients would say that during play, the ankle brace would tend to fatigue the calf on the side of the ankle brace much quicker than the other, thus causing tightness and an uncomfortable sensation in the calf. To fix this, eliminating some of the material at the base of the brace would allow for more frontal and dorsal movement, which would fix the tightness in the calf. I plan to attend Penn State University in the fall. I'm not necessarily sure if the medical field is for me in the future, but one thing I can carry with me to the future is how Eddie communicated with his patients and how he maintained patient relations.
Alex Trin.
Hi, my name is Alex Trin, and I chose to shadow the field of cybersecurity because it is a rapidly growing job sector that happened to pique my interest. I did my field experience at the Software Assurance Lab in the C5 ISR Center located on Aberdeen Proving Grounds. I received mentorship from all the wonderful employees in the lab. I really enjoyed getting first-hand experience from the professionals in the field. During my experience, I had the opportunity to complete a cybersecurity training activity similar to what is given to healthcare professionals, and I think that it could be reworked to enhance learning and prevent cyber attacks caused by human error. My solution to this problem is to implement healthcare-based cybersecurity education in medical schools. This allows for more detailed learning and creates an obligation for learning to be done. I can confidently say that my respect for the cybersecurity field has significantly grown after learning about the responsibility they hold. This fall, I will be attending the University of Maryland College Park with a major in computer science. Thank you so much for listening.
Haley Tuja.
My name is Haley Tudra, and I chose to shadow at a local pediatric doctor's office in Bel Air, Maryland called Pediatric Partners. I chose to shadow here because I've always loved helping others, especially kids in the health world. I spent 80 hours at Pediatric Partners shadowing pediatric doctors, nurses, and medical assistants. I got to watch labs, perform labs, learn how to give a head-to-toe assessment on all patients from infant to young adult, and learn different ways doctors, nurses, and medical assistants deal with different patients and situations. My biggest goal throughout my experience was to find a way to make pediatric employees' jobs easier. In order to make pediatric employees' jobs a little more easier, I created a heated sanitized paper to go on top of an infant's scale. The heated sanitized paper is similar to a paper towel dispenser that you would see in bathrooms. When an employee waves their hand across the machine, it will heat up and dispense the sanitized paper. The paper will be disposed of nice and warm for the infants to lay on in order to get weighed in a more comfortable manner. This experience built my confidence of wanting to work in the healthcare field. In this experience, I found out that I can feel my passions of helping out both kids and the older generation. Because of this, I will be attending Stevenson University the next 4 years to study nursing and hopefully become either a NICU or pediatric nurse.
Lydia Vicharel.
My name is Lydia Vicharel, and I chose to shadow with Lori Pastorini, a licensed therapist, and Paula Nash, the director of teen diversion. I chose to shadow with these people because I've always had an interest in the medical field of mental health. I spent 80 hours shadowing Lori Pastorini and Paula Nash. I got to attend meetings, learn about different therapy treatments, and attend mental health seminars. My biggest goal throughout my experience was to find a way to make it easier for everyone to know what the mental health community can offer to the rest of the community. In order to help the mental health community, I created a guidebook for the schools to integrate mental health lessons into school-based curriculums. The guidebook will include information of mental health specialists, information on mental health signs, symptoms, and ways to help those in need, as well as tips for teachers, students, and administration. This experience built my confidence of wanting to pursue a career in the mental health field. In this experience, I found out I can fulfill my passion of helping those who are struggling with mental health disorders. Because of this, I will be attending the University of Delaware for the next 4 years to study psychology in order to become a psychiatrist.
Matthew Weaver.
Hello, my name is Matthew Weaver, and I chose to shadow the nursing field due to my grandfather's history of strokes and the vital impact that nurses had on his recovery. I spent my time at the University of Maryland Upper Chesapeake Medical Center, where I shadowed an RN in charge nurse, Mr. Galen Ziegler. These were 12 to 16-hour night shifts where patients were entering and exiting the unit constantly. Lots of time was spent by Mr. Ziegler altering the shift assignment sheet due to the constant changing of patients. I wanted to provide Mr. Ziegler a more efficient resource to be able to save time and be the professional resource that a charge nurse should be. My innovation is a digitized nurse shift assignment sheet. This sheet will take the already existing format, seen now on your screen, and turn it into an online live document that will be shared with all the medical staff on the floor and have editor access to only the charge nurse. This will allow the entire unit to see what staff is assigned to a patient in live time, removing the potential for error since the document is the most up-to-date. I have accepted an appointment to the United States Naval Academy, where I plan on studying ocean engineering. Upon graduation, I plan to commission as an officer into the United States Marine Corps, and I will head to summer training known as Plebe Summer at the end of June. I would like to thank Mr. Burke, Weeks, Urick, and Miss Berry for their impact on my life, developing me into the young man I am today.
Daniel Weissert.
Hi, I'm Daniel Weissert, and I decided to shadow physical therapy because I would like to one day become a physical therapist. And I love sports medicine. I shadowed the entire physical therapist team at Dreyer Physical Therapy. I enjoyed the hands-on experience I was provided while still being able to step back and learn. The problem I wanted to solve is the struggle of wheelchair transfers. My solution to this issue is an electric slide board. This will allow for a transfer that can be done very fast and very easy for everyone involved. It will stay attached and retract into the wheelchair. From this experience, I have learned the career I want to take on after college. For the fall, I will be studying at Stevenson University. Hi, I'm Daniel Weissert.
Heather Wheeler.
Hi, my name is Heather Wheeler. I chose to shadow in a general family practice as it would allow me to see all different types of things. At a family practice, I would be able to experience what it is like to help and see patients daily, dealing with whatever different medical problems walk through the door. I shadowed at Bala Family Practice, working closely with the medical assistants as if I was one of them. This meant I was able to see different patients every day, learning to draw blood, take vitals, perform EKGs, and many other important skills, making it always exciting and interesting. However, during my observation time, I noticed that there was things that could be improved in order to help both the providers and the patients, the main problem being the EKG. My innovation is designed to help eliminate the hassle of performing an EKG, doing so by being wireless with a bigger patch covering leads 2 through 6. Without the wires, it is much easier and quicker for the provider to perform the EKG and is much less stressful for the patient. The leads are then connected to the actual machine via a router, allowing the data to be transmitted and printed out. It's a new and improved way to perform EKGs, one without wires and worry. After this experience, I've solidified my love for all things biomedical sciences and that I want to pursue a career in biomedical engineering. This means that coming this fall, I will be studying biomedical engineering at the University of Maryland, College Park, in order that one day I will be able to make my innovation and many more a reality.
Jack Winfield.
Hello, my name is Jack Winfield, and I decided to shadow in the field of veterinary medicine because I love animals and was very interested to see how they're taken care of medically. I shadowed at Jarrettsville Veterinary Center underneath Dr. Krista Magnifico, and I really enjoyed seeing how each animal is specialized and taken care of to give them the most life and joy they can. But a problem I wanted to solve was the idea of puppy mills and animal adoption issues. So my solution to this animal adoption crisis and puppy mill specifically is a 5-step red flag guide on what to look for when you're adopting, when you're going to a puppy breeder. This experience was great because it was essentially a work simulation. I got to interact with other people like I was actually working. I had tasks, and I think it will prepare me later on for when I go off to college this fall and when I enter the workforce after that.
Gavin Yetter.
Hello, my name is Gavin Yetter, and I did a dual shadowing program in both the cardiology and the physical therapy fields because I had an interest in both. I was able to shadow in the cardiovascular intensive care unit at Johns Hopkins Hospital under Dr. Whitman and at Dreyer Physical Therapy under a variety of different therapists. My favorite memory from my shadowing experience was being able to go into the operating room on multiple days and see a variety of different operations. I noticed while at the hospital that there was a lot of different types of equipment that could be combined to be used more effectively or could be used in different ways that reduces space, and I combined this with my knowledge of physical therapy to create my innovation. My innovation is a bike that is attached to a hospital bed and is fully adjustable for any patient's size so that patients can more easily exercise. When not in use, the bike will be able to fold underneath of the bed to reduce space. Through my experience, I was able to discover just how dedicated I am to the field of science, and I will be attending the United States Naval Academy to major in general science.
Good evening, Bobcats. It's Miss Berry here wishing congratulations to our class of 2020. Tonight is the culmination of all your hard work over these past 4 years in Biomed, and while we can't all be together, it's still important to recognize and celebrate all of your accomplishments and successes. Tonight, we are proud to announce our 2020 Biomedical Sciences Program Award winner, and selecting just one individual for this award was no easy task. This class of 2020 was filled with academic talent, work ethic, leadership, and character. Our recipient this year consistently led the class with high academic grades, EOC scores, numerous hours logged volunteering at open houses and camps, and overall is showcased the desire to continue to advance the world of biomedical sciences in the future. On behalf of all the biomedical science teachers and staff, it is my pleasure to now announce the 2020 Biomedical Sciences Program Award winner as Heather Wheeler. Congratulations, Heather. We're so proud of you. Yay!
So a special congratulations to Heather for your 4 years of academic achievement and contribution to the program. Thank you for all of your hard work. So here we are, about to cross the finish line. 1,600 days ago, you applied to be a part of this program. 1,400 days ago, you stood in line outside of the door, waiting for permission to enter our classrooms during freshman camp. And now, you're here, seconds away from being done. I can't wait to see where you will be 1,400 days from now. Of course, I hope you're happy and healthy and on your chosen path. However, I also hope that you're never quite satisfied with the way the world is. I hope you stay curious about the world around you and why things are the way they are. I hope you never shy away from a problem because you think it's insurmountable. Hell, I hope you hope. It's why I do this job, because I want to empower people to ask interesting questions and create better answers. We certainly need you out here, now more than ever. But now, it's time for you to go. Remember, keep the words off your slides, keep your calendar up to date, and go change the world.